None are meant to survive. In Minsk, where brutal SS General Wilhelm Küber reigns as Gauleiter, bodies are unceremoniously dumped into the Yama, a natural hole in the ground that will eventually hold some 120,000 corpses. And before the great slaughterhouse camps, Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor are fully operational further west, Jews arrive in Minsk from all over the Nazi Empire.
Jews were brought here from all over, not only from Germany, from Poland, Hungary. We used to call them Hamburg Jews, but they came from many countries.
For some reason, they were afraid of exterminating academics and members of the intelligentsia in Europe, and so they brought them here.
They put some of them in our ghetto. Before, they'd had a pogrom killing people to clear a space for the people coming in. And sometimes they send whole trainloads straight to the crematorium.
Everybody who survived had an angel who saved him. There were some exceptional people who rescued us. But there were many victims who were betrayed and died, and they are buried here. They cannot tell us who betrayed them and why they were killed. I know a lot of people who got through under the barbed wire, but they were betrayed, and they can't tell us who betrayed them and how they perished. And this is the tragedy. All these victims. We must remember all these victims forever.
But it is not only Jews who feel the lash of German conquest. The Einsatzgruppen's campaign of terror touches every man, woman and child in the occupied territories. Deportations of ethnically acceptable children begin almost at once. Some 5,000 will undergo re-education in Germany as breeding stock. Many more will be sent to the special children's camps, springing up all over the northern and central occupied zones. Inmates will be used for medical experiments, the older children as forced labor. Thousands too young to work will simply be put to death. Filmed in secret, this child is brutally snatched from his mother. They will never see each other again. In the closing months of the war, as the Nazis are beaten back, the Red Army will expose the nameless graves of these innocent victims to the world. Their corpses unrecognizable even to their mothers. Adults are taken too, arbitrary additions to the Reich workforce under a forced labor program established in 1942. Hundreds of thousands of Soviet citizens will be exported to the Reich before the end of the war. They are victims of Hitler, but many will later be imprisoned by Stalin as collaborators, tainted by fascism. These are just the first steps in Hitler's grotesque design. Once cleansed of non-Aryans, the conquered East will be colonized by Germans and other Aryan races. Hitler plans to create 4 separate fiefdoms in the East, 4 Reichskommissariats. Belorussia will become Ostland, under the jurisdiction of Wilhelm Küber. The Ukraine will suffer the terror regime of SS General Adolf Prutzmann. General Erich Friedrichi will control the Caucasus. And Moscovia, stretching from Moscow to the Urals, is to be governed by General von Roch, Nazi ideology's ultimate testing grounds, where its outrageous doctrines will be allowed their most ghastly expression. In preparation for colonization, German authorities appropriate the land, copying Stalin's system of collectivization. Livestock and crops are seized for German use, while in the cities, Ukrainians and Belarusians are starving. For so many Soviet citizens, a stark choice: serve the German cause or die. Collaborators will be rewarded with local administrative posts. And German propaganda will force-feed the myth of what they call the friendship movement. Young people in the Belarusian village of Medvezhino, ostensibly greeting their occupiers in friendship. But all is by no means as it seems. In Medvezhino, they are not deceived.
There was nothing like this in Medvezhino, which they show here, or in any of the villages around. I was old enough to remember everything very clearly. On the contrary, all the young people, I was 16 or 17 at the time, and 20 when the war ended, we all tried to look as bad as possible. We hid wherever we could, and if we heard the Germans were coming to the village, we wouldn't even go out onto the street. We all hid.
I am seeing all this for the first time, even the garlands on the head.
Now the true nature of German liberation is becoming clear. And for many, a new life in the forests offers the only escape from Nazi brutality. Deep in the backwoods, they build the first resistance camps. Men, women, and children, all ready to fight a guerrilla war against the hated invader. With them go their few possessions, their